They've changed their narrative. We got example after example. The mayor of Chicago. We must lead with and live by the promise of sanctuary city. This young man was killed by an illegal immigrant in Texas that never should have been in our country.
Today in Washington a single vote broke the silence. While 427 members of Congress supported releasing the unclassified FBI files from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, one man said no. Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins, the only dissenting vote in the entire U.S. House, stood alone, defying both parties, defying his colleagues, and even defying the sudden shift from Donald Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson, who both reversed course and urged lawmakers to release the files. But Higgins didn't budge. In a post on X, he called his vote a principled no, insisting that the bill, as written, would expose thousands of innocent people, witnesses, family members, anyone whose name appeared in the investigative records. According to him, releasing the files would absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. For Higgins, this wasn't about Epstein. He said it was about protecting Americans from what he called a rabid media. But critics say his explanation simply doesn't match the text of the bill. Morgan Lamondre, director of Louisiana's largest sexual assault support organization, argued that the bill already protects victims and innocents. The only people not protected, she said, are powerful adults connected to Epstein's criminal activities. And in her words, Higgins is treating their potential embarrassment as if they are the innocent ones. His concern, she argued, seems focused on everyone, except the survivors whose abuse sparked the investigation in the first place. But this isn't the first time Clay Higgins has taken an unorthodox, controversial stand. Back in 2024, he was formally censured by House Republicans for remarks many described as racist and dehumanizing. On social media, he called Haiti the nastiest country in the Western Hemisphere and claimed Haitians were eating pets and slapstick gangsters. He went further, warning that all these thugs better get their mind right and their ass out of our country before the 20th of January. Even Facebook stepped in, removing 2 of his posts for violating policies against inciting violence, including one where he threatened to drop any 10 of you where you stand if armed protesters showed up in Louisiana. And before Congress, long before he became a political firebrand, Higgins built his reputation in law enforcement. But even there, controversy followed him. As a deputy in St. Landry Parish, he starred in viral Crime Stoppers videos, often appearing armed, speaking aggressively, and assuming guilt long before suspects were ever arrested. The backlash grew so intense that he eventually resigned. Today, as questions swirl around the Epstein files and the powerful people who may appear in them, Higgins claims the bill is flawed, that he's standing on principle, that he's protecting privacy and due process. But his critics say something else entirely, that his vote shields the very people the public wants answers about. And the biggest question is the one that still hangs in the air. Why did Clay Higgins choose this moment and this issue to be the only no? Critics didn't hold back. Morgan Lamondre, head of the largest sexual assault survivor organization in Louisiana, said Higgins' explanation simply doesn't match reality. According to her, the bill already protects innocent people. The only group it doesn't shield are the powerful adults connected to Epstein's crimes. In her words, Higgins is treating the potential embarrassment of those individuals as if they are innocent people. And she wasn't the only one raising eyebrows. Observers pointed out that Higgins suddenly discovered a deep concern for due process. Despite a long career of assuming guilt on camera, long before suspects ever stepped into a courtroom, his viral crime videos weren't known for nuance. They were blunt, accusatory, and often inflammatory. Yet now, when the subject involves one of the most infamous criminal networks in modern American history, he's preaching caution. Some noticed something else too. Higgins' statement mentioned witnesses, alibis, and family members, but never once mentioned survivors. Not one word about the children and adults who were trafficked, abused, and silenced for years. To advocates, that omission spoke louder than any vote, because for them, this isn't about politics, it's about justice. It's about the hundreds of victims whose trauma still echoes through these files. The files Congress is trying to bring into the light, and so the question becomes, is Higgins truly standing on principle or standing in the way? But here's where things get even stranger. Despite being the only no vote in the entire House, Higgins hinted he might change his mind later. He says if the Senate adds more protections advocates insist already exist, he would consider flipping to a yes. So what exactly is he waiting for? Because right now, 427 lawmakers from both parties say the files should be released. Survivors groups say the files should be released. Even Trump, who once avoided this topic entirely, now says he will sign the bill the moment it hits his desk. That leaves just one question. Why is Clay Higgins still standing alone in the doorway, holding back the release of evidence that could expose one of the darkest criminal networks in America? Is it caution? Is it politics? Or is it something else entirely? Because when one man blocks the gate, you have to ask who's inside. And what happens when those files finally see the light? To be continued.